Once you get older, especially teenagers, if they're living in a quiet community, they tend to get restless. So we were very restless and very like, ooh, I got to get out of here. I got to do something, you know? And so that's how we gravitated toward punk rock music, because it was more alive and it was more, it seemed like something bigger was happening than in our little small town. So we gravitated toward that.
And it was kind of like, okay, now you can live rock and roll because you get to go see the band and you're in the same space as them.
I actually saw Gilbert at a record store once. This is late 78, so he had short hair. He was wearing straight leg pants, a button-up shirt with a small collar, and then he had a Blondie button on. So that was like, oh, wow, he knows something. So it was just a couple weeks later when we went to see The Clash for the first time on their first tour of the U.S., and they played at the Santa Monica Civic. And we actually saw a girl that we recognized that had gone to our high school. So after the show, we ran over to talk to her and say like, oh my God, I can't believe, somebody from Buena High School is here. And she said, yeah, I'm here with my cousins. And she pointed, there was a row of 4 guys standing there. And it was Gilbert, Jaime, Ismael, and Richie. So 4 of the brothers. And I recognized Gilbert, and I go, that's the guy I saw at the record store. So we started hanging out with them, We just go to see bands in LA and hang out.
Okay, we're in LA's Chinatown. Behind us is what was the world famous Hong Kong Cafe, right?
Right?
And where we saw a lot of punk bands upstairs.
Yeah, we saw a lot of the early classic punk bands from Los Angeles. If they weren't opening up for a bigger band from another country or city, they would play here and they would their own audience.
We saw Black Flag, the Germs, the Plugs, the Bags. I saw the Bags. Saw the Zeros. Saw the Weirdos. We hadn't started Lovin' Rockets yet, but it was there. Like my characters that I was planning to do all started wearing punk clothes, and I always like to make it authentic. And I just started teaching myself this stuff over the years. And my character Maggie kept growing up looking different. I was like, well, I'll make her dress like punk because I know punk. I know punk fashion. So I started to give her punk clothes. I cut her hair short. I gave her spiky hair. I gave her straight leg pants. I gave her cool boots, I just thought, well, just draw what you know. I don't see that when people do rock and roll and stuff. They're always just following the band, like the band on stage. Okay, I did that here, but at the same time, I try to capture that you're the audience in the show because that's how I witnessed punk and rock and roll. I was in the audience most of the time.